Good morning, or good afternoon, depending on where you are. Sorry I'm a little late. We had some internet problems overnight, and we just got it back up a little while ago. And I spent a little while listening to one of my favorite groups, The Cream, "Little Sunshine of My Love." That was my morning. So what's going on in the world? Okay, you got football tonight. The Giants versus the Dallas Cowboys. Now, I said this yesterday. I have to tell you something. I hate the Dallas Cowboys with a passion. But if the Giants beat the Cowboys tonight, I would seriously consider calling the FBI to investigate your bookie. Because, man, I'm telling you, the Cowboys are not a team to screw around with when they're pissed. And they should not even be close. Should not even be a close game, based on the talent level of the two clubs, which my brother used to get amazed when he was alive. Used to get amazed about. He would sit there and say that there's two teams, professional football teams of that level, should never have a differential of more than 3 points in a game. That was him. Yeah, he was probably right. I don't know. At that level, who knows what's going on? You're dealing with personalities that you don't see at high school and college levels, So, and he went to a military school, so there was no, personalities weren't that wild and crazy back in the 50s as they are today. So things are a little different. Okay, well, Trump's going around making comments that reflect his opinion on free speech, which is that he doesn't believe in it. He doesn't believe you have the right to stand up and say, "I don't like you, Donald. You're a piece of shit." Well, you can't really call, maybe he can complain about you saying he's a piece of shit, which is what I would say. But he's wanting you not to be able to say negative things about him. Or he doesn't want you to be able to complain about the justices, the judges. He does it every day. He calls them all kinds of things, but he doesn't want you to do it. And that's another reason where I can't understand why people are willing to throw away everything and vote for that pig. Well, what can I tell you? He also made a statement about. There was also a story this morning about his promises, and I'm not sure exactly which ones. I just read the headline. This headline is an MSNBC, CBS, .com, and CNN, and I forgot. I got it. I think I got mine from Rolling Stone, but it's also on YouTube. It's all over the internet. This comment, I don't know who made it. It said experts. Experts said that if he gets elected and goes through with what he's promising about, it would cause a spike in inflation and would wipe out jobs. Now, these are experts. These aren't me. I don't know. When it comes to the economy, I don't know. As long as I got money in my pocket, I really, I know I'm doing something right. I know how to run a business, but I don't know how to run a country. So, but this is what they're saying, and I believe it, because Donald doesn't do anything unless it benefits himself. And I've said this many, many, many times. So, who knows? If I'm right, if I'm wrong, I haven't the faintest idea. I can't tell you that, But I do think that he's crashing mentally. I think. I don't know what he'll do or attempt to do should he lose the election. Because losing isn't in his vocabulary. It's not in his thought process. That's just the way this man is. He's a crazy person. You know, he's a narcissist. He has no empathy for others. Who knows? You know. Another little interesting article. After about, I think they said 7 months, Coca-Cola is discontinuing their peppermint flavor. I am so glad that never made it down here. I mean, I'm not a big Coca-Cola fan, but I mean, Coke and peppermint does not sound like a great combination to me. You know, it's sort of like black coffee and castor oil. You know what I mean? Not something you want to go through. You want to try, but you know, they put it out there. It lasted 7 months, 7 or 17 months. I'm not sure. I forgot. I'm not going to go back and look that up. But that's one of those things to be grateful for, you know. They never got to me. So anyhow, I'm going around looking for something else to talk about. Oh, she did an interview, Kamala. I don't know when she did it. I missed it. Well, when I'm saying I had internet problems, I had phone, TV, you name it. It was all gone, you know. Even my Kindle didn't work. Things were really screwed up there. It's all right now. They said it was strictly a local problem, which means some idiots cut a wire he shouldn't have cut. That's what that usually causes, you know. And I'm surprised down here that they're making a big thing out of putting in fiber optics. And I had fiber optics in my neighborhood for, we got it 20 years ago, I think. Yeah, 20 years ago. The big deal about it was you can put X amount of lines in a, I think the copper cables held 500 lines, and fiber optics you could, in a 1-inch cable you could put 10,000 lines or 20,000 lines, something like that. Some huge amount of. It was economical. It was you know, it cut down on stuff underground. I don't know whether they pulled out the old stuff or not, but you know. And it was pretty good. I mean, it worked really good up there. You know, no problems. It was, you know, it was decent. Let's see, Trump was getting laughed at because somebody asked him a simple question about crypto. I'm not going to get into that because I haven't got the faintest idea what that is. I just know I don't like it. I don't think there's a good way of presenting that, you know. There's things in this world that there's no such thing as a good way to do it, you know. It's like you're sitting down and you want to talk about the death penalty. There's not a good way to kill somebody, you know. There's not some, you don't know how they feel when they're going through that. You don't know what it does to them. If you did, that would mean they'd have to come back and tell you, and if they did that, you'd probably die from fear. GOP leaders are relying on the Democrats again to prevent a government shutdown. Joe Manchin's out the door, but he's making stupid comments on the way. Don't know who that is. And you see this, now this is coming from the mainstream, this is off of MSNBC, they're talking about the wheels are coming off Trump's campaign. But then you go around and look and say the polls are so close. Are people that stupid, really, that they're going to vote for this guy, even though he's nuts? And I mean, unless you're voting for fascism and, you know, white power or something like that, then I can understand it. You know, yeah, sure, go ahead and vote for him. That's what he stands for. On the New York City mayor, Eric Adams, got a criminal indictment. And they said, the ad here says, criminal indictment undermines a key GOP conspiracy. I don't know about that, you know. Let's see if we can find out anything more about that. Let's try here. He's a Democrat, so that's part of why they're saying that doesn't help the GOP conspiracy theories. It's not going to do anything about the conspiracy theories. The people that believe that still believe it no matter what. Okay? They don't care. That's the way they are. They don't care. Trump is attacking Catholics. I'm not sure I believe this guy because I'm not even going to mention his name. This guy's a little far-fetched. That's saying that he's on here. He's all over the YouTube channel. He's I guess he's got some respect and whatnot, but I don't trust what he says all the time. Oh, let's see. Yesterday I was listening to, before the cable and everything went crazy, I listened to Tina Turner. Sometimes I get really, really crazy about these old people, these old classic rock groups and whatnot. I just think they're just so great. And what gets me going is, with music, is if they have this ability to get the crowd up on their feet. I guess when you watch a baseball game, it can be very boring, but if the crowd really gets into it, it can be a little exciting. You bring up a little bit exciting, I'm surprised one of my favorite singer of all time, and the man whose influence, his music, can tell you a lot about my personality, is Bob Dylan. And he's still around, and he's still out there recording, and I know one of these days I'm going to turn on the computer and look at the news, and he's not going to be with us anymore, and I hope he is for a little while longer. He's just, I've seen him, I've met him twice, I saw him 3 times, so it's the words in his music. It's not he's not that great of, he didn't, shake my hand or anything. He just said, yo, man, what's up, He talks the way he sings, Sometimes it's very hard to understand, sometimes it's not, depends. But his music, the words in his songs are meaningful. They were meaningful to me 50, 60 years ago, and they're meaningful to me now. And I think he is more of a poet laureate for my generation than Maya Angelou or whoever is doing it now. I don't know who some of the poet laureates were. But his music is just, the words in his songs they just strike a chord with me, and it's cool. Other bands I listen to because I like the sound. Then you have, music that I just like because the words mean something to me. And I think that's the same with everybody else too, Like you want to talk about bands. I always thought that Dave Clark 5 was better than the Beatles. They just, because their music just got me up and moving. Some of the Beatles' music is depressing. Individually, I like John Lennon and George Harrison's music very much. I never liked Paul McCartney, and I don't really know why. Can't come up with a good reason. I just don't like him. I don't think he's a really the nice person he wants everybody to think of me. I really don't. I don't want to get involved in that. All right. So where are we now, time-wise? We're almost out of time. So anyhow, I'm doing some research and some other things on other ways to do this, because I get a few people that pay attention to me, but not really. It's one of those things, and I understand it. You listen to me, I can be extremely boring. And my topics are, pretty much the same all the time, But that's why I try to bring football into it, But like I said, because things were down yesterday, I didn't have a lot of time to do a lot of research about the game tonight. So only my personal opinion, that's all you get there. You know, everything's my personal opinion. I quote stories, but those stories reflect some of my personal opinions. So, you know. Anyhow, that's it for today. We'll see you tomorrow.